So we're going to take these from this to this. We're Clue and Don from Detroit's Clean Sneaker Care, and this is StockX 101. If this is your first time watching, StockX 101 is all about teaching you the ins and outs of sneaker care and also how to keep your pairs as fresh as possible.
And if you don't know us yet, we're the founders of Clean Sneaker Care, a Detroit-based company that specializes in sneaker cleaning and restoration. All right, so we got our dirty pair of white Forces here. What's the first step? How do we approach getting these back looking fresh?
Yeah, so like as always, you want to assess like these are all leather, it's not a mix of materials.
Yeah.
The first thing, as always, is try to brush off any extra stuff that's on here, which we can do now, and you can kind of see like with this type of dirt, like you can knock off a lot of stuff before you even get to the cleaning. You know what I mean? One of the big things I'm seeing on here is you got a lot of dirt and grime in the teeth parts. So I'm going to try to brush out what I can and what I can't. I got my handy dandy X-Acto knife right here
to kind of get between the
grooves. Yeah. Well, a lot of this stuff should pretty much come out with just a regular brushing. And like I said, we'll get to the harder stuff here. You got to make sure the stars are clean too. You know, this is one part that you don't want to forget. And now I've seen clean pairs, and then when you're looking at them, we still got some dirt around here. So you want to make sure that you just get all those things right from there. So I'm just kind of just taking my time and using the X-Acto to get between like these cracks and crevices. This part is actually really relaxing to me. Like I kind of like the detail work, honestly. It's just kind of fun. But I think people also like that process. If somebody was in here with me, which there are people in here with me, I'm sure they enjoy like this noise. There's just something about like, you know, the little scrapes and all those things when you can see like something happening with it. That's very satisfying, you know. And then this way, I'm not going to make a huge mess. Like, yes, it's dirt and stuff falling all over the place, but it's not about to be a bunch of mud water. At least not as bad. And I believe I'm going to hit these with the sponge first too, and we're going to see how much of this stuff we can get out with. I'm also trying to show people like there's other things you can use besides brushes and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Also ask you that, like, if you don't have an X-Acto knife at home, what would you use instead?
You can get like any small household
something that'll kind of just like picker, right?
Or you could just take like your hard brush, and you can, with this is Air Force One, and we just did them with rubber or leather. You can use this too, and it should get out a lot of those things. You know what I mean? So it should do the same thing. The X-Acto is just, it gets into the tighter spots better, for sure. I think that's why. But other than that, you can use whatever you have. Like if you had like a small screwdriver, or if you had a cuticle pusher, which I use sometimes as well, that's good to get into
dust and crevices
as well. Yeah.
So knocking off the surface level dirt before we even go in with any water or solution.
Yeah. Of course. Like I said, it just makes the cleaning easier. So now that we don't have like those black spots up in there, we can kind of get to the rest of the cleaning, you know, as I'm brushing off the rest of this residue. So I'm just going to take, again, we used the sponge a few times. We still got a couple more sides we can use. I'm going to dip that boy in there. And then we're just going to get to scrubbing. And you can see almost immediately, per usual, we're getting out a lot of this surface dirt. And you want to make sure that you pay attention to the threads too, because the threads might not get cleaned off of this first session, but at the same time, it's a lot of the dirt around it is still coming out. And so when we get to the brushes and the solution, we'll be able to see like, okay, we get into a deeper clean.
Yeah, so after battle one is finding the right tools or materials. Right?
Exactly.
You know, so you're using the right thing. So like you said, like with it being the rubber outsole, the leather upper, it's not crazy mix of materials on like this particular pair of Air Force One. So it makes it actually an easier clean, especially if they're not like too far gone.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And as I always say, you're going to catch them before they get too far gone. You know, that's what keeps them longer. So if you're not one of those one and done kind of people,
right,
then after you give them a couple wears, you know what I mean, make some free time, and then, or if you have some free time, just take it and wipe them down.
Yeah, you can see like a lot of the dirt. You know, again, these wearing like a crazy, terrible, too far going pair, but you can see a lot of that already coming out, right? You know, before you even get it sudsy or hitting it with a brush.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So I'm just going to wipe off any extra residue. These are looking good already, honestly. So I'm just gonna suds them up, and then we're gonna hit them with the towel, then we should be good. But one thing to note as well is that, as we said before, this cleaner has some conditioning properties in it too. So it's always good to like get a good lather on the sneaker,
Right.
and then let it kind of do its thing. You know what I mean? Because it's helping out the shoe. It's going to help the leather be a little bit more supple and all that, and it's going to allow it to just like dry up really, really well, and it's going to be more on the healthier side.
And what do you think is like the hardest part about cleaning the Air Force One? Like for me, sometimes it's the midsole, the outsole, the rubber part. Sometimes it seems like really tough to get some stains and extra dirt out. But what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. That part is difficult too. And then when a sock liner is like toast, I think that's a difficult one to navigate through. So I think when you're working with say the outsole, that's the first thing you said, you want to make sure that you use the hard brush. You gotta be, you go with the same principles as far as get rid of all the debris, pop out all the rocks, do all those things. But then you want to go into using the stiff brush. You can go to the medium brush. If you're that advanced, you can use, they got brushes for drills. You can use that as well. It's really like no kind of right or wrong way.
Right.
Because you just got to make sure that you get to it as best as possible. And then when it comes to say like the sock liner or the tongue, soft brush only, use your solution, use your towels, make sure you squeeze out as much moisture as possible during that process, and then it's going to turn out really good. We got a little bit of dirt around the collar too.
Yeah, so they did that. So we get a ton of Air Force Ones that come through the shop, right? So like, what's something common that you see that people do that you would like advise them to maybe like prevent when wearing? Like, I know we've talked about like when you kick your shoes off and you stepping on your heel or stuff like that, but just from cleaning so many pairs, like what do you see?
Denim, like again, right? Denim. We talked about denim before, and denim is like the biggest offender. You know what I mean? I think denim and just neglect of the shoe, period. Some people, they're like, hey, I just found out about clean sneaker care. Let me go in the basement and get the dirtiest pair I can find to see if they can clean these.
Right.
So some pairs is too far gone, but I think denim is the biggest offender. You know what I mean? Denim and neglect. Some people, they wear the Air Force Ones, and then they're like, hey, they got a little bit of dirt on them, just not gonna wear them. And what happens is they turn yellow and stuff like the pairs we had earlier. And then now they need like a heavy cleaning and yellowing and all that stuff too.
And something that we didn't talk about that I think is like key with shoes that have like that kind of higher or wider toe box is like stuffing the shoes when you get hung.
Yeah.
Right? Like in between wears and when you're not wearing them before you put them back in the box. Like a lot of people, I think, like throw away like the cardboard shoe trees.
Yeah.
Or the paper. Sometimes it's just paper that comes with it, but like stuff the shoes when you get them back home to help them hold their form and hold their shape. Like obviously they're still going to crease, right? Over time, that's just the leather giving, but like when you stuff it, it kind of restructures it back to how it's supposed to look.
Yeah, it keeps everything where it's supposed to be, like you said. We stuff everything before they leave the shop with like packing paper.
Yeah.
It's just the same consistency as like newspaper. So I think that's something to either invest in or use old newspaper to stuff them with. It kind of helps take the shape, but then it's firm enough to where it can help reshape a pair. So I definitely recommend, worst case scenario, throw the shoe trees back in there that come with the sneaker, and then all would be well, and you can help maintain that shape. It'll help minimize some of the creasing too.
No doubt. So these are already looking crispy. Like
We got a couple minor things I'm just kind of being picky about that I think we can just knock out. I just don't like it to be dingy up in between these cracks, like in the teeth part, in the midsole. So I just try to make sure I always hit that. It's an easy thing to miss. And you got to look at them from this angle, and then you got to look at them from this angle, because it's right on both sides of those pieces.
Attention to detail.
But overall, these, like, I call it good dirt. They had good dirt on them, so they cleaned up like fairly well. You know what I mean? And from here, we should be almost good. It's a little bit more dirt in that A right there. Gotta get that,
Right. And then you also mentioned like the sock liner, right, and the tongue, and you said that's something that you use a soft brush on.
Always, yeah, because you can frame that material. The tongue, it's like this like thinner, like tag is more of a cotton fabric. So if you use the wrong brush, you're just going to pull those
The
fibers.
threads to come up. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's not cool at all. And then now the tongue looks crazy, and you don't want that. It's not necessary.
And then like something that bugs me, I don't know if like you feel the same way, but when you wear like the wrong socks, or if you don't take care of the sock liner, you start to see
crazy.
You see that lint, or you start to see those like kind of cotton balls kind of like bundle up inside the sock liner. Like, what's some ways to like get some of that out?
Yeah, I would invest in like a fabric saver. You can get them on Amazon for like dumb cheap, like $10 to $15. You can get a really good one. We got a few at the shop. And it's just a really good tool to have, not just for your shoes, but for your clothes, period.
In general,
get those lint balls, you can just legit just scrub them out. It's like a shaver. It's actually very satisfying too.
Yeah, and if you, like you said, like the shaver is obviously like a dope tool to have, but then like just stuff around the house is like a lint roller can get a lot of it, but some of them are cooked in. And honestly, tape, bro. Tape. Like
tape is a good one.
Wrap tape like around like your hand or your finger and just kind of like go through it. You can pull it.
Tape is a good one.
Tape.
And then pet hair is a big one too. Pet hairs are the worst. It's tedious, but you can take tweezers, you can pull them out because they legit get stuck
inside, stuck in.
So you can take tweezers and pull them out. So it's like a good one to learn. I even take an X-Acto knife sometimes. You gotta be super careful. You kind of like scrape out some things too, depending on how sharp it is and all that stuff. That's if you're like above average, cleaner,
No doubt,
whatever. But overall, like I said, these are looking pretty good. All that mud and stuff is gone. I really like how these turned out. Again, like we caught these at a really good time. They didn't get a chance to get to like those crazy pairs, like the level of soiling. We want to get it before that, but these are looking really, really good. It's almost like it never happened.
Right.
And you can notice that these have like a off-white color to the laces, the sock liner. Air Force One's age, sometimes depending on when they were manufactured, it probably was like a year or so before they got to you. And now they look a little off color, but that's fine. Like these look great.
Yeah, money shot, looking crispy. We back ready for summer.
Can you say money shot? I'm Chloe, and that's another pair of clean.
And I'm Don. For more sneaker cleaning tips, make sure to follow us at Clean Sneaker Care.
Thanks for watching StockX 101. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.